Hi everyone, Steve Dangle here on Steve Dangle's YouTube channel. That still exists, that's a thing. Sorry, I've been a very bad YouTuber. I haven't made any YouTube videos since Nazem Kadri got traded, which is a thing that happened and I'm very sad about it still. What do you mean you don't like the trade? It has nothing to do with me not liking the trade. So I thought I'd give you a little update on my life and what's going on and everything, because I usually have at least a weekly outlet, and I don't have that this week because we're not doing a podcast. We've gone down to one per week. We did 2 last week when we were supposed to do 1 per week. So we're doing 0 this week. We're taking the week off because math. But more importantly, we couldn't even do a podcast this week. Or rather, we could, but I'd be freaking spent. So here's what's been going on. Sportsnet 590 The Fan, if you've read the book or if you've listened to the podcast, you know that that was my first internship back when it was just called The Fan 590. That would have been back in 2008. Oh my God. That would have been... Oh my God, when Matt Sundin was a Canuck. I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, Sportsnet 590 The Fan has given me the opportunity to do some radio. And they did that last year, and I was with Adam Wild. We got to do a couple days right after the Kawhi Leonard trade. So you want to talk about a sink or swim scenario. I guess we swam good enough, and they decided to give me another opportunity this year. Adam frigged off. He's not with the company anymore, but I was still there. Last week, they put me in the 9 a.m. to noon slot with George Rusick, or George Rusic, and we talked a little bit of this and that, mostly Kawhi. We talked a lot about the Kawhi news, obviously. We were waiting for it to happen, and then it obviously finally happened. Sprinkling in some Leafs here and there, and we've had some radio guests on. Greg Wyshynski was one of them, and that was super cool. And then this week, I've been doing the morning show. The first 2 days were with George Rusick and Hugh Burrell, and the past 2 days and tomorrow have been with Hugh Burrell still and Ashley Docking. Ashley's cool. We've spoken before, just, you know, around the Sportsnet office and everything. Hugh Burrell, and I've already told him this, and he was very embarrassed by it. If you're a Toronto or GTA native, you probably know the guy because he's been on your TV for a very long time. Hugh, don't watch this. Oh my God. He's been the sports update guy and doing Athlete of the Week. Was he the guy who interviewed Mitch Marner when he was a kid? I just checked. It wasn't him. But look at how adorable Mitch is. Not a contract worry in the world. Anyway, it's been really cool to have these radio opportunities and everything, but it hasn't exactly left a ton of time for YouTubing and all that. And also the morning show. Boy, does that screw up your sleep. Regular tired, your body goes, hey man, like, you know, slow it down a little bit. I think you need to rest. And you go, no, I'm doing stuff. And your body goes, you should probably shut it down. It just makes it more difficult for things to do. When you get up at 3 in the morning, because that's when I've been getting up, your body doesn't even yell at you. It just goes, what's even going on here? I don't understand. I find the hardest part about waking up at 3 in the morning, besides the fact that it's waking up at 3 in the morning, isn't my head. It's not what it does to my brain. It's my stomach, because it completely changes your day. You're eating breakfast and your body's like, what is this at 3 a.m.? Are you drunk? You only feed me when you're drunk. This isn't shawarma or poutine. What do you think you're doing? But right now, only one more day, one more morning of the morning show with Ashley and Hugh, and then I gotta say goodbye. But next week, I'm doing more radio from Tuesday to Friday, back in the 9 a.m. to noon slot again, this time with Scott MacArthur, Scotty Mac, who I've never worked with before, and that should be pretty fun. Steve, what aren't you doing Monday? Well, on Monday, which, by the way, is when we plan to record a new podcast, Monday, I'm going to be shooting a video in Oshawa with Coach Jeremy, How To Hockey, if you know him. I mean, surely you know him. He's like the biggest hockey YouTuber in the world. He looks at my sub count like, aw. I don't want to spoil what Coach Jeremy and I are getting up to. I know he's gonna like try to teach me how to skate a little bit, so that's gonna be fun. And when I haven't been doing the radio stuff or catching up on sleep, I've been playing a little bit of hockey. I've been doing instructional league. Again, if you read the book or you listen to the podcast or watch these videos, for crying out loud. It might be a surprise to some of you, but I didn't play hockey growing up. Barely know how to skate. Been trying to make a go of it. It's been a process. Man, learning how to skate is not easy, but I've figured out a bunch of things. Know how to stop. Kinda. I know how to go backwards. Kinda. I know how to pivot. Kinda. And I've basically been playing in this instructional league where we get together and do like 20 minutes of scrimmages. No, sorry, we do 20 minutes of drills, and then we do the rest scrimmages. And it's been really fun, and I suck but it's okay. I'm with other people who are learning. I've scored a goal. I scored a few goals. Like, I meant to. The first one I didn't really mean to. It just sort of went in. But I've actually scored goals that I meant to score. Did the goalie actually try to stop them? It's not that deep, man. It's not, don't even think about that. Don't ruin this moment for me. I actually got to put a puck in the net, and it was great. Oh, I got one of them on camera. Look at this. Look, 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 look. I did not mean to do that. I did not. That's not where I meant to put the puck at all. And let me tell you, like, if you're ever thinking about picking up hockey, or you don't know how to play, but you've been curious about it, but you're insecure about it, like me, you know, it takes a little bit of courage and a little bit of swallowing your pride to get out there like Bambi and just admit you don't know anything and learn. But let me tell you, if you've ever wondered if you should, you should. I love playing hockey. I had no idea I would love it this much. I already knew I loved watching it. It's completely different playing it. But once you actually learn how to do a couple things, even crappily like I do, every second on the bench is agony. All I want to do is be out on the ice and play crappy hockey. It doesn't matter. It's so fun. Do it. If you're thinking about it, do it. And the other reason I haven't made a ton of videos is, well, what's happened, right? Nothing really with the Leafs. There's been a few trades here and there. I've gotten to talk about them on the radio, and that's cool. Maybe would have made a video for them if I had more time, but I haven't. So now I'm just sort of waiting on news. Maybe I'll do some more questions videos. And actually, if you've been following me on Twitter today, I asked for some questions, so I'll answer a few before we wrap it up, because it is 7:30 in the evening, and I'm going to go to bed soon. How are the Victory puppies doing? Boys, you want a treat? Iggy! Oh, you stink! Charlie! Oh, there you go. Tell everybody how you're doing. How you doing? That means good! Charlie, how are you doing? That also means good! Leafs gonna name a captain for this season? Yes, I truly believe they will. If you watch the podcast episode, CJ Returns, so Sportsnet's Chris Johnson, one of our favorite, if not our favorite podcast guest. He's on all the time. He's amazing. He basically went from Leafs locker cleanup and walked to the podcast studio from there and just spilled the beans on everything. Told us everything, told us so much, gave us so much insight on the Leafs. And one of the things he said is he's putting his bet down. Auston Matthews will be the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs starting in the 2019-20 season. And I'm here for it, folks. You're on TV and the radio quite a bit now. Did that help you get over ordering food? I hate ordering food a lot. Well, that's not true. I like when the food arrives and I get to put it in my face. What I don't like is the actual ordering food. I don't like it much on the phone, but I can grin and bear it in person ordering food. If you've ever seen it, it's calamity. I'm terrible. I'm awkward. I clam up. Today in the Rogers Caf, the guy was like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Ugh." Today, I'm a grown man. Remember this, okay? Today, there was a stranger, a complete stranger in front of me, and I panicked so hard that when they asked what I wanted, I just pointed at his food and I said, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have that. And they said exactly that. And I said, yep, I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I wanted like bacon. There was no bacon in that, but I didn't want to say those words. Hey, I would also like bacon. I just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. There's something wrong with me, I know. What is the most random thing someone has said to you in an interview? Boy, there's been a few. A few of the waybacks. I got to talk to Carter Ashton. You might remember him. He played for the Leafs for a hot minute. He was a first-round pick, I believe, of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I had his number because I wrote for that junior hockey show, if you've read the book. And so I got to interview him, and we were asking about the sort of questions that he got asked during the draft combine. So I guess this is a weird question that he was asked during the interview, but I was taken aback when he told me that one of the teams said, "What would you do if there was a gay player on your team?" And at first I didn't like the question very much. I was taken aback by it. But then I guess maybe that team was trying to go, okay, well, if he wouldn't be okay with that, he's not the sort of player we would like to draft. I mean, they ask all kinds of crazy stuff at the draft combine, but that one just caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. An interview around the same time, Calvin DeHaan bad at me like a sheep or a goat, and I don't remember why. I think it was unprompted. He's an interesting young man, and I wish him the best of luck with the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, that happened, by the way. That was a trade that you forgot about. And lastly, Ron MacLean. Had him on the Panicle Pizza Steve Dangle podcast, and I just panicked. It was like in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the interview of his appearance on the podcast, and verbal diarrhea is just coming out of my mouth. And somehow professional wrestling got brought up, and I just panicked and I went, you watch wrestling, Ron? And I waited for horrifying silence and for him to just go no and walk out of the studio. Instead, what he did is he gave an amazing several-minute-long answer about Alberta professional wrestling and the Hart Foundation and like Bret Hart and Bret Hart's family and all that. What a legend. Oh! Speaking of Ron MacLean, so this past season, when I was filling in for Hockey Central Saturdays with Rob Pizzo, every now and then, Don Cherry, after Coach's Corner, just shows up. Just shows up, he doesn't tell anyone he's coming on, and that's the show for the next 15 minutes or something like that. Don Cherry's just on, and there's games going on in the background, and we're supposed to be giving updates. Nope, Don Cherry's just on. I don't remember how it got brought up. But I said, I was comparing some sort of player to a honey badger. You know the honey badger. Honey badger don't care. And they're just a ferocious player. And Don Cherry just goes, a what? And then I'm sitting there explaining to Don Cherry what a honey badger is. Life is silly, eat candy. Last but not least, what does Hat Guy do in the summer? Who cares? Just thought I'd give you a little update. That's what's going on in my life. Hey, if you're sad or disappointed about the lack of YouTube videos on here or the lack of podcasts this week, let me tell you, I do have a book. Where is it? I got a book. This is the advanced copy. This is the ARC, the advanced reading copy. But they have The Real Thing in bookstores in Canada for sure, all across, and I think in some Barnes & Nobles in the States. I don't know if it's anywhere in Europe, although I know it was requested at a library in Italy, which is really cool. And if you're like, yeah, well, I can't listen to that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. My audiobook is available. It's on Audible, it's on Kobo, it's on the ECW Press website. It is on iTunes. A lot of people are asking, I don't want to sign up for Audible. Then don't! Get it off iTunes. It's right there, or get it from the ECW Press website. If you've already bought the paperback and you want the audiobook too, you don't have to pay full price. If you contact ECW Press with proof of purchase, you can get the audiobook for $7. The audiobook is nearly 10.5 hours. That's like, what, 5 podcasts worth? Get it! It's good. I recorded it. It took a really long time. Please do it. Some linkage down below. And of course, a ton of videos coming out on the Sportsnet YouTube channel as well. I think those are going to start rolling out Monday. I think that's what producer Drew told me. We're doing the best of Dang It's. We're going through all 31 NHL teams and crowning the #1 Dang It for all of them. There were some doozies. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe. If you really liked it, tell all your friends that I miss you. But I'll be back. Hey look, I'm back. I'm back right now.